Hey guys, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. Today in this video, we are going to be doing the Brightly Sampler block sew along. And I've got to apologize to y'all. I'm a little bit late. For some reason, I cannot get my cameras, my external cameras, to connect through the box that makes the cameras then connect to the laptop. So I can stream through those. Don't know what that deal is. I can maybe do it on another little adapter. I can try that, but then I don't, then I don't have, that one blacks out on me. It's got a weak spot. Very frustrating. Hi, if you're new here. So this is the Power Tools with Thread channel, and I am doing a block a week for the Brightly Sampler sew along. And it's going to be kind of hard with my laptop camera. You guys are up above it's kind of up, and I can tilt it down. And I think this is how we're going to have to do it. So in a pinch, right? Plug the thing into the thingy. I know, Vicky. I unplugged, I replugged, I rebooted. That's why I said I would be there in a minute. No, it's not a carryover from that. What's really funny is it was here just like it was this morning on the Situation Room. And I wasn't sure on the audio, so I jumped out of the backstage. I went back into the backstage, and then I checked the audio, and I went back into the camera part, and I got the black screen. Odd. We're going to do it. You're just going to be looking down at me. I hope that's okay. And now I'm going to spend some time troubleshooting this morning. We are adaptable and flexible. Thank you, Carolyn. All right. So okay. I've got those other two cameras on too, facing right at it, just like it needs to be. Okay. So I have everything here in this Yazzie bag. This is the fold over pouch. I put out a blog post this morning or yesterday evening on a Yazzie bag, and I'm organizing with these easy stacks. Okay. And they work great. But, so I've got that all in there. And then I'm also working on the companion quilt. So I've got this is the 14-inch square, what's it called? It's called a design board. Y'all, I'm flustered with my cameras not working. That makes me crazy. The back of my brain is going, it's going, what's wrong with it? Is that connected? Is that connected? I'm going to focus on you. You're the important one. And the only squares we have in this one, this is the Mosaic squares block, is an A and a B block. That's all we've got. So if you're brand new and you just got here, Lynn, you're so sweet. She says, however we see it, we're here for you. So I'm going to pull out all my trays, and I pre-cut the entire quilt and put them on the easy stack, so I'm all organized. It is so helpful to me when something is cut. That means I can just go to it. I've got my instructions right here. I can grab and go if I need to. This will be going with me on the road trip. And no, we're going to finish this in May. I'll be working on another one, but this will go with me with another quilt in it in July on the road trip. So we are working out of the Family Favorites block by Sherry, book by Sherry and Chelsea. And the Brightly Sampler quilt is on page 16. 17. This is it right here. Okay. And it is 5 blocks used 4 times for a total of 20 blocks. We are on week 5, and on my blog, powertoolswiththread.com. I know when technology is great when it works, but when it doesn't, I have got a schedule so you can see what we're doing and when I'm not going to be here. Like I won't be here. I will be here next Monday. I'll be here both Mondays. Yeah. Cause I'm not leaving until Tuesday for Road to California. So I'll be here next Monday. It says no live show, but that is not true. So I'll have to edit that, but we'll just make a little pen and pencil while we're here, right? We'll just do a little editing on the fly. You can line out no live show because I will be here. I'm not going to edit that. That's too much like work. Okay. So I am also on that blog post. I am making my quilt not with Laguna Sunrise, like in the book. I'm making it with Strawberry Lemonade fabric line from Sherry and Chelsea. And Shirley Scott did her blocks on and put a picture of them on the Facebook group in this fabric line. So I have a picture of this as well. And I love her layout. I love her fabric choices. So I am making mine just like hers. So this picture is there if you want to do the same thing. I don't like figuring out, I'll be here all week long. That's right, Michelle, I'll be here all week long. I don't like figuring out what fabrics to pick. And so when somebody else does it for me, I give them the ultimate compliment and copy. That's what I do. So here is my tray for the mosaic squares, all cut. It's fantastic. So I'm just going to grab this first one, and I've got my different color squares all cut. Okay. And I've got my background fabric cut and folded. So I'm going to put this back. We're only making 1 block a week here on this quilt. Now I am making a companion quilt right along with this. And today when I get finished here and after I figure out my camera, because I don't want to fiddle with that tomorrow morning when I've got one eye open and the other one on my coffee cup, I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of my mosaic squares blocks and get them for the companion quilt. And a companion quilt is an identical quilt in a different fabric line. And I am doing mine in Farmstead by Stacy E's Shoe. Okay. So, and I'll show you guys my blocks for that. Turning out just adorable. I love this. Let me show you quickly what these are looking like. I can put them up on the wall. This isn't going to take us too long to get through this block. If you're just joining us, the connection thingy between my camera, my Sony cameras, and my laptop has gone Tango uniform. So you military types know what that is. All right. So there's 1 and 2. Don't go down on me now, iron. I fussy cut the little barn. Isn't that cute? That one turned out cute. And then here, this is the mosaic album mosaic block. And notice the album part, the mosaic block, it's a square. This is a square, okay, in a square. So it's a square and a square. So I fussy cut the center of that. This is exactly what we are making today 4 times, and then we will sew them together. That's how that works, okay? And then I made this one. I'm doing pretty well on this. I got more blocks of these done. Look at my cow. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, I'm loving that. Farmstead. And that's by Stacy E's Shoe for Moda. Okay. There's my butterflies. I love this fabric line because it's got a nice, large prints that I can go ahead and make stuff with. There's my milk jugs and barns. Very cute. And then the Happy Dance block, I've made 2 of these now, and 2 of these in the companion quilt, and much, much easier. I found a much easier way to do that. And when we get to that one again, I will show you guys how I'm making that. So if you are getting ahead, I am just sewing 2 at a time together, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then this one to this one, this one to this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then sew the rows together. I'm just doing it straight. I'm not making those square. I had a hard time with the squares for some reason. I don't know why, but I've got 2 of these. The other one is right here. It was on my design wall this morning. So that one's done. Okay. Moving right along. Moving right along. My blocks are doing good. Thank you, Lynn. I love them too. That's going to be a pretty quilt. This would actually look great in my living room, believe it or not. So my living room is very, it's the other one, not so much. The other one looked good down at the coast. because we have a lot of bright colors down there and whatnot. But my living room is very brown. So, okay. This is a Yazzie block bag. Love this. Fits perfectly. Okay. So let's get busy. I don't think that sun's going to be too much of a problem. All right. So Mosaic squares. And I didn't make any more kaleidoscope blocks for the companion quilt yet. Let me put all of this down here. All righty. So just want to get, I'm going to take my little iron because I already cut all these, but they've got a good fold in them. So I'm going to press these out and get them all done. Moving. I know, Vicky. They need a little cow emoji. I'd be all over that. Vicky loves her emojis. They're fun, aren't they? One a week is all you can handle. Yeah, I'm doing a block a week too. Working on 4 projects at once. We're doing the same thing, Peggy. Same thing. 4 projects at once. I got this plus a companion quilt plus vintage Christmas plus quilted snowman. And then in March, we're going to start Prairie Home. Busy. Busy, busy. Okay. So here's my block A. Right? Yes. This is block A. These are my block Bs. Now, there's actually 4 different colorways of block B. And all 4 colorways are used on one of the block A squares. So I'll show you the diagram here. See how we've got, it has all aqua, all yellow, all green, all red. Now, that's not to say you can't super scrappy your block. If you get a hair and you want to live like that, you go right ahead. That'd be fine. My brain doesn't do well with that kind of, I need more stable colors. I need something that's not all, but you do you, boo. It's fine. You can do whatever you want. So I'll put one here, and these are our block Bs. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So there we go. And we are ready. These are the block A's and these are the block B's. Now we're going to do the exact same. I have shown this over and over and over, but if you are brand new, this is a method that I have come up with for the sew and flip block. I've talked about it extensively on the channel, and I have a video that goes very slow on how to do this, but I'm going to show you how I do it and why I do it like I do. Okay. So I'm going to take one of the block Bs and I'm going to put it face down. I'm going to take my little ruler here. Okay. And I'm going to put it diagonally. There is a coffee cup ring on my sewing machine bed. Welcome to my world. So I'm going to put this diagonally on the block, corner to corner. The ruler is corner to corner. Okay. Now I'm going to take a friction marker. All right. Y'all, I was in the military. I can adapt and overcome like nobody's business. We'll make it work. Now I'm right-handed, so this is going to be backwards, but you can see that half of this square on the diagonal, Brenda, I have my t-shirt linked below in the section, in the description box. It's in the section called Around My Sewing Room. Okay. So I have half of this block hanging out from underneath the ruler. That's important, right? So the ruler's corner to corner. I'm going to make a line right next to the ruler. Okay. And then I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to place a mark on the piece that is hanging out from underneath. So you don't have to move the ruler at all. Draw a line corner to corner and make a mark on that piece. Why do you make a mark on that piece? Because this side of the square on the diagonal is smaller than the side that's under the ruler. So What I'm talking about here is if the ruler is corner to corner, the line is not. The line is right next to corner, which makes this piece hanging out from underneath the ruler just a hair smaller. That hair smaller in the garment sewing world is called turn of cloth. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to sew and flip. And when you do that, you will have enough fabric on the piece you're keeping to fold it over and have it meet, and your blocks won't be wonky. So this is not taught in quilting as a rule, but I teach it when I teach quilting blocks. So I'm going to take a minute here and get all of these marked. Now, if you are savvy and you've been at this a minute, this is what you do if you're a beginner, okay? Don't live dangerously. You need to mark all of these. You don't need to mark all of these if you have what's called diagonal seam tape on the bed of your machine. Diagonal seam tape, you have 3 different lines. I've got the red line, and this is from Cluck Cluck Sew, okay? The red line, again, I have this in my Amazon store. The red line is center with the needle, on perfect with the needle. The black line, I got a 1/4 inch this way and a 1/4 inch that way. So what you do, and I'll show you, I can't zoom in, you guys, because I don't have zoom on this. But what you do is you're going to put the square just to the side of the needle, okay? And you're going to put the point down here just to the side of the red line that's on center with the needle. And don't watch the needle. It has a job and it knows what it's doing. What you need to do is watch this point down here and make sure that this point stays to the left of that red center line and all the way up. And then you don't have to mark them. Okay. All right. So I just want to, for those of you that detest marking your blocks, there's a way. You just have to be sure that you're not stitching corner to corner. The ruler's corner to corner. Okay. So the line is not. The line is right next to corner to corner, and we're going to mark the short side. Now, I'm not going to do that with the other ones. I just wanted to show you newbies how to do this. Now, why do we mark the short side? That's the side that's going to be cut off. So you just have to remember in the sew and flip method, the piece with the mark, there's the mark right there. That's going to go to the outside of my fabric over here. It's going to go to the outside so that it looks like this. This is the piece that's going to be cut off. Now, this is really, really important as well. Okay. So when you're doing this method, you cannot see any white fabric up over the edge of the yellow, and you cannot see any yellow fabric up over the edge of the white. The white fabric is your base shape, and you're going to change the base. It's going to be the same base shape, just two different fabrics. The white fabric is the base shape. You want to maintain the integrity of the base shape. So when you stitch, you don't want that. That's not maintaining the integrity of the base shape. Maintain the integrity, meaning it should still, so this square is 6.5. And when you put your fabric up on it with the part with the mark to the corner, okay? When you put your fabric up on it, it should still be 6.5 with no wonky edges. And then when you sew it on the line and sew and flip, it should still be 6.5. You're maintaining the integrity of the base shape, okay? So I'm going to do chain stitching on this, chain stitching, assembly line sewing. Okay. I'm going to do the part with the mark to the inside of my machine. Okay. And I'm going to, and you're going to do opposite corners. So I'll do this one, then this one, and then I'll do this one, then this one. You can't do them on the same side. It won't work. You got to do that. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew on the line on these, and I'm going to make sure that my point down here, if you've got it, you need to make sure the edges of your fabric stay right next to one another. Okay. So you can do all 4 of them very quickly here. All right. I'm going to take another base shape, and I'm going to take another piece of the piece for the sew and flip. I am exactly lining up the edges like this on this side. Okay. And now I'm going to put the needle just to my right of the point. Okay. Because I have diagonal seam tape on the bed of my machine, and I'm going to make sure I'm not watching up here. I'm watching down here, that this point stays just to the left of that red center line. You don't want to come out right on that line. You'll get a wonky block. Okay, here's the third one. And line these up exactly. This goes so quick once you get this down. And it's so fun. You stay right there. Don't be hanging over. That's not your spot. Maintain the integrity of the base shape. That should be going through your head, y'all. And the last one, isn't that pretty? I love that one. Okay. I didn't look to see what went with what. I didn't care. I just stuck it on there. Okay. All right. All right. I'm ready to trim them apart. So now I'm going to show you with this yellow one where I made the mark. Okay. The mark is the side that's going to be cut off. Okay. There's my little mark right there. See that? So remember, when we stitched it, this is the smaller side. Because this is the smaller side, I now have enough room in that turn of cloth to take this point and match it up to this point exactly. Match it exactly. Let me turn this blind. I can't see. Bright light, bright light. I can't see. Oh, better. Okay. So it should not look like this. Okay. It should not look like this. It should match exactly. And you should have enough space in that fold, because the short side is the one that's going to be cut off. Okay. So when I put this up, I can see yellow. Hold on. I cannot see white. And there's no yellow hanging over. All right. So then, this is hard, y'all. Normally I'm pointing down to you guys. Okay. So the other trick is to iron before you cut. So I'm holding this together right where it goes. Okay. I finger press, and then I'm pressing on the seam roll and the clapper. And it comes out nice and flat. And there we go. Okay. So I'm going to do that to all of these blocks. And it's very handy if you have the 13-inch seam roll. This is the 6.5. If you have the 13-inch, then you can do 2 at once at your ironing board. I'm on the small now because this is just here at my sewing station. So, and see, even though I didn't mark these, because I kept that fabric just to the side of the needle and the point, as the needle went over it, it fits perfectly. It fits perfectly. Okay. This is perfect. That's what you're after. No wonky squares. This also gives you a perfect 1/4-inch seam. That's important. Because if it's short or it's hanging over, it's going to mess with your seam allowance down on the sides of your block. Okay, that looks great. Now I can cut it. And because these are long, I'm going to freehand this. I keep a little mat on my little ironing board here. Okay, there's one. And you guys are just having a good old time chit-chatting away. I love that you guys find friends here. I love it. It does take some practice, Sally. She says she's taken her time to put these together. This is a technique. I don't know why they don't teach this in beginner quilting classes. Maybe because quilters weren't garment sewers. I don't know. But I mean, I quilted for years and I would get so frustrated that my blocks were not either big enough or they had wonky edges or whatever. If you want to, I'll show you guys on the next one. If you want to, you can actually sew a 1/2 inch away from that seam and create yourself a set of 1/2 square triangles and turn that into another project if you like. This small iron joist is the Cricut Mini Press. This is what I'm using. I love this one. It just fits fine right here. Everything. This is a Steady Betty. Again, I have all of this in the description box below where it says more ... You click on that. It opens up all the links. And this is in the section of around my sewing room. Okay. So when you do this, I want to show you guys, your block should be straight on the line. It should not be doing this number. And I know you've all done that. I've done that until I got this method. It would do this or it would do this. Okay. Your block should square. Okay. See how it's not on there right. So this piece now, we're maintaining the integrity of the base shape. And I want to show you. So see how this is, it's on this line over here, it's on this line over here, and it's coming straight down here. Maintain the integrity of the base shape. This piece on the bias, cut on the bias, is square. That's how you get an accurate block. This is going to vastly improve your quilting. Okay. So that's why I do it the way I do it. There are many different methods to this. This is the one that works for me, and this is the one that I do all the time. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going from here and just keep on sewing. Again, I said that I was going to do across, just like the book shows. You want to do opposite corners, and there's a method behind that madness, okay? And the piece that's going to be cut off is out here on my right. So, okay. I see a little white. Let me scooch that back. You'll notice I'm not even using pins. You can if you want to use pins, okay? You're welcome to teach, Nan. You're probably an excellent quilter. You've been hanging around quilt stores a long time. Nan's one of my Texas girls over in East Texas. Met you in Houston, time or two, right? Old dog, new trick and all that, right? Okay, here's my orange one. It is so much fun to quilt when it works. Also, I mentioned this morning in the situation room, I got another Quilter Select ruler, and I had the 6x12, and I ordered, the Fat Quarter Shop got in the 6.5x12. Okay, so I love the 6.5. I love that extra ½ inch, because when you're cutting blocks like this is 6.5. Okay, I don't have to, if I was using a 12-inch ruler, I don't have to look in that halfway. I've got it already marked on dark lines. It's very handy. Okay, you can leave these attached. You can go even quicker. And oh my goodness, gotta do what we gotta do. I can't believe technology, you know. Ooh, annoying. So I went out. I had when do I leave for California? Next Tuesday, Jamie. Not tomorrow, next Tuesday. 21st. They're having a preview night. I got to be there in the convention center at 6. Showtime, 1,800 hours. So I'll be there at 6. Provided Ontario's still there, God willing, right? Which is east of Los Angeles. Those poor people. My goodness, I feel so bad. It's just, what a disaster. What an absolute disaster. If you're watching this 3 years from now, the Los Angeles fires are in full swing right now. So prayers to everybody in that area. I was listening to Adam Carolla, and he was talking about how if you have a pool, you could get one of those pumps, and then you have, then you have thousands of gallons of water you can use to pump water out of your pool and wet your house down. And matter of fact, in Texas, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm not going to Branson, Michelle. You're going to have to come to me. I was thinking about that this morning when I was talking about that. In Texas, if you have a swimming pool, you actually get a break on your house and home insurance because you've got water right there. So, okay. I think, don't quote me on that, but I think. Okay, I'm going to cut these. Yeah. Any info on El Campo retreat? Yeah, Janie, it is set. Bonnie's working the details, getting all the signups ready and everything. It is set for that. I can't remember if it's the 8th, if it's the third weekend of September or the last weekend of September, or weekend, something like that. I always forget. I got to write it down. So just block those off. I'm pretty sure it's the third weekend in September. Don't quote me. Okay. Michelle, I'm telling you. No, I don't think we're going to go to Branson. I don't know. I want to go to the Quilted Cow, but I'm not sure. Oh, I forgot to do that and show y'all how to make those extra half square triangles. Let me do that on this one. Okay. So the reason you don't do them side by side is because what'll happen is you can't cut this off because it's got a square on top of it and you got a wonky thing there. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to keep going with this. Whoop, let me put this down here where I can see it. I always do that. I always try to put something way up there, and I'm like, why do I do that? Why don't I just put it where I can see it? I don't know. Okay. All right. It is heartbreaking, Patty. Especially my stitchers with all those, all that fabric. Oh my goodness. That's something. All your memories, everything. Okay. And my green. Can I use paper pieces from the fat quarter shop to make these blocks? You can, but the thing is you've got to make sure that you've got the right size. So they have square and a square papers on a roll, I believe. But you've got to make sure you've got the right size for that. Let's see here. That darn thing. It's like it doesn't have the motion sensor in it. And this last one. Put this right here. Okay. It's hard because you want to make sure your edges are right with the color and the point is right. Got to get it all right. Everything's got to be right. So much. It's stressful. No, it's fine. So this is the last one on this. I'm going to show y'all how to make an extra half square triangle. Okay. So then once you have this sewn, you just go a half an inch away, not a quarter of an inch. I'm going to run this. I guess it doesn't matter. I just need to make sure I've got a quarter. I'm going to put the edge of this foot a quarter of an inch away from that seam line right there. And I'm just going to stitch and keep it kind of straight. So when you do that, then you can take, so I've got two seams. See that? I got two seams. Now I'm just going to cut right in between them. And you end up with a secondary block. And you have a very pretty little half square triangle that you can square up and use in another project. I don't do that. I'd have to store them. I'd have to remember that I have them. I'd have to maintain them. I don't have that kind of bandwidth, y'all. So they go into my scrap pile, and that goes to my local quilt shop. Oh, I cut that off without, dang it. Now I don't know. I cut that off without maintaining the integrity of the base shape. See what I did? Okay. So I'm going to put this here. Make sure I'm at my size and then put this up here. There. Oh! Y'all. See, that would have given me a wonky block if I'd have eyeballed it. I don't want to do that. And you're not supposed to iron your hand. So take a look at this. Look at my perfect 1/4 inch seam. Right here. And right here. See how you get your perfect 1/4 inch seams? You love it. Okay. So there's one. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's the thing. You can't get crazy. I see Lori Holt and Kim Jolly cutting theirs ahead of time. And I'm like, I don't know how they do that. I mean, my pieces are as accurate as theirs. But another thing I do to make things move along is to do all of the same motion at one time. So sewing that extra square or half square triangle kind of threw me off. But I iron everything at one time. I cut everything at one time. I snip everything apart at one time. Minimum movements make efficiency, okay, in your block making. So everything, you know, I don't do a stitch and then press and then cut and then do another stitch and then press and then cut. I don't do that. Okay. And once you get good at freehanding the rotary cutter, that's a good thing. Makes life easier. Okay. All right. And my brain is like, what am I doing when I get done here? What's next? What's next? Okay. Okay, good. And I've got one more square to put on. Okay. Do I have a video for doing accurate flying geese? This is the exact same process for flying geese, Patty. Exact same process. Because think about it. That's a flying geese unit, is it not? See, exact same process. Draw a line corner to corner, mark the outside of, put your ruler corner to corner, draw a line next to the ruler. Sew on the line, mark the short side, fold, iron, maintain the integrity of the base shape, trim. So square and a square and flying geese, this method, there's a lot of blocks. That's how my little, I put them over there, my little flames for that Lori Holt Vintage Christmas came out perfect because of that method. I mean, you just use it constantly in quilting. Whoever said, just sew this on there. No. That's no good. That's a lousy method. Just sew this on there. What's my opinion on spinning the seam? Robin, I do that on pinwheels. I do. I just clip that one little thread and pop it open just to reduce bulk. I like, it doesn't bother me a bit. Let's see. And if you ask me my opinion on pressing my seams open, I'm going to go anarchy on you. And I don't do that. I don't like it. And the use of the seam roll and the clapper significantly reduces the bulk. Oops, I was talking. I got moved here. Let's see. The whole point of pressing your seams open is a very flat seam, and you can achieve pretty much the same result using this seam roll and a clapper and press your seams to the side. Pretty much the same result. Okay. This is being, why are you being like that? Okay, there we go. But when you press your seams open, you create a hole. Okay. And I don't like creating holes. Y'all are talking about ham bones. I made a chicken in the Dutch oven last night in the oven. And whenever I do that, I take the carcass, skin and all, and put that in the Instant Pot in the basket and fill it up with water. Oh, I don't like that. Fill it up with water and sprinkle in some onion powder and throw in the whatever celery and onion happened to be in the cavity of the bird while I was at it. And then pressure cook that for 2.5 hours and then let it cool down for 2.5 hours. You can throw a couple of peppercorns in there or whatever. But that broth, that stock, we put on Frito's dog food. She loves that. So I don't use any salt or anything in that stock. She doesn't need it. Of course, it had seasoning on it from when we ate it. So I made it chicken last night. It was fantastic. So good. How many stitches per inch on my machine? Barbara, I'm doing, I'm at 2.5 on the dial over here. So what, 12? I'm at a 2.5 stitch length. Okay. And on this machine, I'm stitching on the purple dial here, which has the feed dogs just coming up above the metal plate just a little bit. So you ordered Laguna too? That'll be nice. This is such a beautiful line. It's like I can't not quilt with it, right? I can't. Oh, I had mentioned this morning that I had round shank needles in my 1055 and somebody promptly corrected me and she was right. So I have to bring that up tomorrow. Oops. I swear they were round, but I guess not. Okay, there's that. You guys definitely keep me honest, that's for sure. That's fine. We learn from each other. Oh. All right. Why am I using my 28 millimeter over here? Because I got this thing in this is all leather. It's beautiful. I got this in the spooky box from Fat Quarter Shop. And this 28 millimeter rotary cutter fits in there. The other 45 does not. Okay. All right. So now all of our square to squares are stitched. We are good to go. So now they're round in my long arm. Yeah, I know, Car. Yeah, I know they are. Okay. I guess I just figured big needles, but it wasn't. Let me get a swig of tea. Thank you, Barbara Ann. This method gives you perfect 1/4 inch seams on your square to squares. Okay. So now I have to decide what I'm going to do with my colors, right? I've got different value of colors. So this one is light. This one's really dark. And these two are the same value. So I'm probably going to, I can look at Shirley's picture and see what she did. But I'm probably just going to do opposites, right? So, and you can tell value if you take a picture with your phone and put on a black and white filter and you can see value. Let's talk about value. That's one of those things in color theory that I do not excel at, okay? You know, this holder for my tea came from one of my viewers, Ruth. She gave it to me on a cruise, and I love it. It's meant to actually clip onto a lawn chair. And I thought that was awesome. Okay, let's take a picture of what we got going on here. Okay. So here's what I'm looking at. You can really kind of see it there, right? But if you go to a black and white filter, let me go to my filters and let me find black and white. Here you can really see it. See that? So that's probably the best way to put that together. There's no doubt in your military mind that that is light, that is dark, and those two are medium value fabrics. Okay. So this is what's probably going to, as you put the block together, look pleasing to the eye for what that's worth. Let me see what Shirley did on hers, because I'm making mine look just like hers. Let's see, the dark aqua. Where's it at? Now she put hers. Let's see. She did hers light, dark, and then medium, medium. I don't know that it matters. So let's take a look at Shirley's and see how she did hers. Is that better? Don't know. Not a big deal. But because I want to make sure, value lesson on the phone, Vicki. You never know what you're going to learn on this channel. little nuggets, right? Easter eggs all throughout. You're going to find them. I like the first way too, Karen, or it won't matter at all. That's right, Patty. So this quilt is so incredibly scrappy that so long as I don't have this dark block next to this dark block, I don't know that it matters, right? It just doesn't matter. And that's the beauty of this. This is a great quilt to start with. So I think I like, oh, I was going to leave that. I think I like dark, light, medium, medium, personally. Doesn't matter. Okay. The greens are not next to each other. That's right. That's a good way to look at it. Also, I'm looking at large scale, small, small. There's that. Maybe that was why. So you have to now flip a coin, right? And maybe go get an M&M or something and figure out what you're going to do with yourself. I think that's probably why. That's probably why she did it like that, because of the scale of the centers as opposed to, no? Let's see. Yeah, that's, so look at it that way. Yeah. Does it matter? I don't know. That's the thing. The color shows up more than the scale. Good point, Quilt Wench. Good point. That's what I like that better. I just like it better. Okay. So now I'm going to sew these together. Now, the point of sewing blocks together is so that this little tiny tip of the white right in here and this little tiny tip of the white right in here meet exactly. What's no? Nope. Nope. Okay. Am I doing something wrong? Try switching the orange and yellow green. Yeah, we're fine. Okay. So one of the things I do like to do, you can do it by eyeballing it. So you can put them together and try to eyeball it. Right? You can do that. Make sure your edges meet exactly. And then I take a pin and I go in one side of that cross and out the other. And I'm going to hit it right there. Now, a more successful technique for me is to take a pin and in the very top right here, push the pin in from the front and have it come out in the back, and take my little marker and hit that. Just make a mark exactly where the pin came through. You see that little mark right there? Exactly where the pin came through. This is cheating. It's not cheating. Now you can eyeball and put those points together, the little white parts, put them together. You can see barely where they're going to be. Nest them up with one another, okay? And then in one side of the seam allowance and out the other. And then I like to pin the end so that they don't dance around. And now I'm just going to aim for that little blue mark. And if I did it right, it's going to hit it exactly. And then I don't have to take it apart. And that is the goal, is not to have to take it apart. I don't like doing things and leaving them to chance. In a perfect world, where those seams meet should be exactly where the point is. In a perfect world, I'd match all 6 number too. But that doesn't happen either. All right, let's see here. I'll take it. Ta-da. Okay, that's fine. I like it. That couldn't get any better. Hi, Rhett. Thanks for joining us. Perfect. Quilting on. Love it. Thank you, Tammy, for your super sticker. That's very thoughtful. You're getting all kind of quilt lessons today, huh? Cheap class, my friend. Cheap class. That is wonderful. It helps the channel a great deal. Okay. These are just little tricks. I could submit that in a show. That's that good. I'm very happy with that. All right. Again. Now, this one is my row number 1. So I press the seam allowance to the left. You can press it to the right. Doesn't matter. I just get into a groove that odd number rows, I press left. Even number rows, I press right. Okay. All righty. So we're doing those greens opposite. I need to mark this on the point. It's an extra step, but I don't like to take it out. And I'm going to put my little mark where that's coming out at. And now I'm going to eyeball and put these little white bits together. Exactly. And I am pinning at a diagonal so that they don't wiggle in one side of that seam allowance, out the other. Pin the ends so they don't dance around. Yeah, thumbs up, everybody. Helps the channel a whole lot. It tells the algorithm that other quilters might like this as well. I'm stitching on the Brother PQ 1500. It's a straight stitch machine. They don't make this machine anymore. Now they have the 1600. My quilting accuracy improved exponentially when I got a single stitch machine. All right, let's check it out. I'll take it. Am I going to take that? No, I am not going to take that. That's off. I'm going to fix that. See that? No, I know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. My edges are right. My middle is not. I won't accept that. So you guys, if you're new and you're like, I'm just grateful it went together, there's nothing wrong with that. You can leave it, okay? I want to show you what you're aiming for. I'm not taking the whole thing apart. I'm just going to take apart the middle part, because sometimes that happens. And then I'm going to show you another trick you can do. If you fuss and fuss and fuss and fuss with it and you can't get it and you want to rip your hair out, and there's no need for that. We need our hair, right? There's no need. Okay, let me pop this open. Now, another thing you can do is, now the only reason I didn't rip the whole thing out is because these are right on my ends. Those are correct. Another thing you can do is you can go, what are you doing? Is you can take a pin and go right in on the point. Exactly. And get that just exactly right. And then you can go through this one. on the point. And now I know that they are pinned exactly together. Hold that pin horizontally straight. And you can pin then. I'm going to pin right after that. And I'm going to pin right before it. Yep. And now I'm just going to kind of start. Okay. Pull that. Pull that. I'm just trying to show you guys different methods that you can use when things don't go the way you want them to. All day long, that'll work. I've got thread in there. Okay. That's pretty close to perfect. I'll take it. Okay, so this needs to press toward the orange. Okay. That method I just showed you with the pins is how I put together the Valentine wall hanging from Designs by Juju, that little mini quilt that we did. That's how I put that all together. Okay. All right. So this one's to the right. Ta-da! I know. This one is to the left, which means my seams are going to nest. Yay. So when I nest my seams, I just keep my edges together and slide them until they butt right up next to one another. I've got a video linked right below in the description box that goes baby step by baby step, way up close, of how to nest a seam. Okay, now I've got to meet this one and this one, and same thing. Okay, I can eyeball it or I can do my pin method. I'm going to eyeball it because I'm lazy. We'll see. That will work. Ow. I'm going to pin this on the straight before and after, just like before. And hopefully that works because I've got diagonal seams. Now look at this. I got orange up there. That's because it's a bias cut. I'm just going to stretch it and I'm going to make it work. I'm not stretching it. I left a little. Okay, that will get worked in with the feed dogs. It's called ease. It will be eased in. Yes, I just put a pin in my mouth, and no, I don't want to hear it. My mother lived with pins in her mouth, and she's 83 and doing fine. Okay, I grew up with pins in my mother's mouth and a bead of sweat on her upper lip because we didn't have air conditioning. In South Texas. Okay. All right. Now, on this one, I've got some dark up over the edge here. The back is sticking up farther than the front. I don't care. When you're doing blocks like this, the point, you have to look at the grand scheme of things, okay? The grand scheme of things is that this block needs to finish, I think, at 12.5. I think. This block needs to finish at 12.5. So that means no matter what, okay, of all of these little pieces that you're putting together and seams you're matching in the middle, you've got to have a 1/4 inch seam here and down here. That's the big picture. So you got to keep in mind the big picture. Because you can, as time goes by, compensate for little bitty bits in the middle that go here, there, and everywhere. Oh, I didn't mark my dang. I didn't mark my points. I bet you I'm going to have to restitch this. We'll see. The point of stitching, pinning on the diagonal on that straight seam in the middle is so that I can go 1 or 2 stitches over the seam and then pull the pin, and it doesn't wiggle. And I'm going to get right on that point without tipping it, I hope. And I'm ending at a correct 1/4 inch on the other end. Oh, let's see. I'm living on the edge, Vicki. Living on the edge. Oh, look at that. Boom. Okay, I've got a little bit of orange right in here. Okay, and a tiny bit of green. So when that happens, you're not close enough. When that happens, go back over it and just stitch it again, 1 stitch away, and take up that excess. No need to take it apart. Money. That'll work. Okay. Carolyn says, most perfect square in a square I've ever made. Well, good for you, my friend. That's fantastic. Okay. This looks amazing. I'm very happy with this. Okay. Where's my trash can? Should be 12.5. No. Is it should be 12.5? Let's see. Where am I at? Yeah. Should be 12.5. I want to iron this on the big ironing board. I'll just turn my cart. Works for me. Turn of cloth. Don't sew blind. Trust the straight edge. Trust the process. Yes. Maintain the integrity of the base shape. Okay. Oh my goodness. And here's my big long seam roll. Oh, this is so pretty. So pretty. Love this. No steam. Just heat and pressure. Oh, y'all, it turned out beautiful. Look at that. Love it. So here's your Mosaic squares block. Awesome. Okay. Ooh. So now you guys have the idea. Oh, yay. On how to do that. And so now you can just, let me turn this back up a little bit. Now get yourself some diagonal seam tape, put it on the bed of your machine, and you're ready to go. Okay. That's awesome. I'm very, very pleased with this. It turned out just beautiful. All right, you guys, that was it. So be sure to get that block done this week, and I will see you again next Monday. Remember, it has on the schedule no live show, but my flight is on Tuesday instead of Monday, so I will be here. Scheduling issue. All right. It was a lot of fun to do this with you guys today, and I'll have this up on the design wall tomorrow, so you can see it in the morning in the situation room. I like the secondary patterns that show up too, Ruth. All right, y'all, this has been a lot of fun. I will see you in the morning. Y'all go sew something. Give me a thumbs up. Bye. Oh, if you're on your TV, hit the channel up button. That'll give me a thumbs up. Thank you.